let's do a reading wrap up. But we're going to do January to the end of March reading wrap up instead of a monthly wrap up because we are already into April. Let's grab the physical books and let's have a little chat. Into it. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Let's dive into it. Reading wrap up for the year so far. Started this year off strong. January 1st, New Year's Day, I read Exodus. I devoured this book, no joke, in one day flat. I ate this up. I wasn't sure what I was getting into when I first started it. I didn't love how much internal dialogue there was for Cecilia. It felt like a lot and it felt very repetitive. Like, we get it. You miss the boys. You're looking for them. You can't go on. We get it. We totally get it. However, it just felt lengthy. Then enter Tobias. And wow, did it pick up with the spice. Thank you. Thank you for introducing me to Tobias. Unpopular opinion, and I will stick to this and die on this hill. I don't hate Tobias. I say I might have daddy issues too, because Cecilia's a walking daddy issue, but I didn't hate Tobias. I sobbed. You all know who've read this book, you know the part I sobbed at, and I didn't recover. That ending, Cecilia's turnaround, was heart-wrenching, badass, and so fun to read about. So this is a great start to the year. My second book of the year was completely different. The second book of the year was Wolfe. Also finished this one in less than 24 hours. I don't know what that says about me. I thoroughly enjoyed reading this. I questioned all of my life choices and I questioned myself. I'm laughing so hard. I'm making so much fun of myself. This was a chaotic, fun read, and I don't think I can recommend it to everybody. But I will say, if you're into unhinged, semi-dark romance, Motorcycle Gang, it's like Sons of Anarchy, but the motorcycle club does good, minus the they do. But other than that, they do good in this book, and they're trying to get drugs off the street. I don't know why I whispered that word. Anyways, this was fun, and I liked how it ended. And Wolfe is, he's a hottie. So 4 big boys that I read back to back. Okay. We did it, guys. We read the Boys of Tommen series in January. 1, 2, 3, 4, back to back, no breaks in between. I went, oh, you want to rip my heart out? Well, might as well do it all in one full blow. So I did binding, I did keeping, I did saving 6, and I finished her off strong with redeeming 6. I'm 100 pages into Taming 7. I took a little break. I took a little break because Gibbsy's story is pretty sad. Okay, guys, these are my Roman Empire, and I recommend these books to everybody and anybody who will listen to me. These are real people to me. These are real characters, and they are a part of my soul, and they will live with me rent-free. This book is single-handedly one of my all-time favorite books now. Wow. I basically cried from the middle to about 75%. I highly recommend this series, but I will say a few of my besties have read it recently, and they have all informed me that they do in fact need to take a break after reading them. Do binding and keeping, take a break. Read something fluffy, read something light before you jump into Joey and Aoife's story, because saving and redeeming 6 are a very different vibe. So if binding and keeping are heavy and sad and intense for you, then saving and redeeming are also going to be very gut-wrenching and very heartbreaking, but in a different way that it does take an emotional toll on you. So next up, The Serpent and the Wings of Night was one of my favorite books from 2024, so it was only fair to say that I had to devour The Ash and the Star-Cursed King. I did this as a buddy read. We read this so fast. You guys have not read the Crowns of Nyaxia series yet. What are you even doing? Fantasy lovers, vampires, okay? Do I need to say more? Vampires? Vampires. The Serpent and the Wings of Night is a trial style book. Oh my God, I love trial style books, okay? The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King is not a trial style book, but has so much personal growth in it, found family, battles, love, heartbreak, more love. I love this book. I cannot recommend this series more. Carissa Broadbent, you can do no wrong. And I don't know what I'm doing, why I haven't continued to read with that series, but I need to jump in to the next part of the series. For Galentine's Day, I went to an event, an author event, my first author event, and I loved it, on February 13th for Becca Mack and Hannah Bonham Young. I wanted to read their books before I went to the event so they could be fresh in my mind, so I could know what's going on and then get them signed. So let's start off with Hannah Bonham Young. These surprised the heck out of me. 5 stars. Both of them are 5 stars. I did a combined audiobook and physical book for Out on a Limb. So much character depth. Out of the Woods hit home for me. It hit home so hard. It's about a couple. They've just been together for a very long time, since high school sweethearts. And they kind of just like fall into a rut. Wife, Sarah, she just realizes like, I don't know who I am. I've always just been Caleb's wife. And so a friend of hers recommends this camp you go to with other married couples. And so they go on this. It is about repairing their marriage, but along the way, they really just like find themselves and who they are. And Sarah and Caleb, I related so hard to Sarah, and this book hit home so hard. And there were moments of this book that I cried. There is grief. There is a death in this book. Both of these books, Out on a Limb and Out of the Woods, I've been fortunate so far to have read 5-star books. Becca Mack. So I did Consider Me, and then I skipped book 2 and went to book 3, Unravel Me. I didn't have much time before the event, and I wanted to at least have 2 of her books under my belt. And everybody was recommending Unravel Me, and boy, oh boy, did this book deliver. Adam freaking Lockwood, the goalie. These are hockey romances. I loved both the characters. We have a single mom and a hockey goalie. I don't need to say more. Anytime there's a single parent in a book, sign me up. Sign me up. I love single parent books. Becca Mack delivered as well. Very thankful to have met both of them. All right. I decided to throw in a thriller. I don't know why. It was wintertime. I wanted to scare myself and freak myself out for some reason. Hidden Pictures. When I say that I had to look under the bed and in my closets every night for 4 nights straight after I read this book, like no joke, guys. I did this one as well, half audio and half physical, both 5 stars. I devoured this in less than 48 hours. And that's with me being terrified to read at night. If you're looking for a creepy, freaky book, it's definitely a thriller. And I think this author did a great job. There is illustrations in the physical book. There is some creepy illustrations. The little boy in this book, you don't know if it's an invisible friend or if it's actually a ghost he's seeing, and she has him draw things, or like I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but we don't know if it's like her possessing his body or what's going on and she's doing the drawings. They're good, but they're creepy. They're good. So I highly recommend Hidden Pictures. I had a great time with that book. I've only had good reads up until this point. So let's dive into one that I didn't love. Two stars. It was slightly predictable for me. Like, I just thought that the FMC was not someone I root for. You might like this. My best friend Allie, you can see in our other video where we talk about popular books that we did not agree on. This is one we didn't agree on. She loved this book, and she's someone who guesses things in every single thriller we read together. For some reason, she didn't guess this one and I did. So reading is subjective. Remember that. In the Likely Event by Rebecca Yarros. This was a buddy read, and every single one of us had a different rating. I gave this a 3.5 or a 4. I did not like the way it ended. It felt very rushed. I liked most of the story though. Most of the book, I would say like I liked 95% of this book. It was just the last 5% that I was like, ooh, that was kind of a letdown for how good the first 95% of this book is. So you've got the past where these two meet on a plane. The plane is going down. It is a plane crash in the beginning. And they meet there, but they're on two completely different trajectories in life. One is going into the army, and he is obviously going to be deployed, and he gets deployed most of the book, and she basically pines for him the whole time. And then you've got present day where they're both in Afghanistan together, looking for someone, and I don't want to give away any spoilers. So I really did like the storyline and the idea behind it and the plot. It was literally just the last 5% that I was like, that isn't how I thought it would end. That was a fun read too. P.S. I Hate You. I did this on audio, guys. This is so good. This book is basically grief through and through. There is an author's note yet, because this book deals with emotionally difficult topics, including child neglect, car accidents, suicidal thoughts, loss of a loved one. The whole book is based off of a brother passing away, and he leaves letters to his sister and his best friend, and they basically have to travel all the states and places that the brother didn't get to go to, and they get to read a letter that he's left them every time they get to a location. And those two like start out as enemies, and then obviously we know with romance that's going to progress. So this was great. I don't know how you guys are going to feel about this. The 7-Year Slip. I got recommended this book by a lot of people, a lot of friends, and while I didn't hate it, I was pretty bored. I think this book took me like a week and a half to read. Look at this. This is not normal for me. I read Exodus in 24 hours. This took me about a week. I just wasn't into it. I wanted to know what happened, but I kind of also figured out what was going to happen, so that wasn't my favorite. Done and Dusted. Audio, 5-star audio. 4-star book, but 5-star audio. This story's fun. It's a cowboy romance. It's simple, it's easy, it's cute, it's perfect. Also devoured this one in 24 hours, but my gosh, it's entertaining. It's so entertaining. And I'm gonna get to meet Lila in a month. I'm so excited. She's coming to Canada for the first time, and I'm gonna be at that event. So this book is fun, and this kicks off what is now becoming a favorite series of mine. I did Swift and Saddled, and while that one, I'm like, okay, it's fun. This was amazing. This was amazing. I loved Swift and Saddled. I'm gonna be like, okay, Megan, you do this with all your books, but 24 hours. No, less than 24 hours. This is a less than 24 hours. So excited about this story. Wes and Ada, I don't want to say her name wrong, but that's how I pronounced her name while I was reading it. Their story is so fun. She starts out as like the black cat, and he's the golden retriever. She has a lot of insecurities, which, as we know, like usually the black cats, they are the way they are because of past trauma and things they've been through, and that's just like their defense mechanism. They're just so sweet, and Wes is just so patient and kind. For like Ada, who's just gone through a recently failed marriage, Wes just swoops in and just is so gentle and patient and kind. It's so good. We entered the Elle Kennedy verse this year. Yes, we did. And I started it off with The Graham Effect. Wow. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Stories that don't match the cover. This is one of them. It is such a cute cover, but wow. Wow, do these characters have backstories? And wow, is there a really traumatic backstory for Ryder, the MMC? The spice be spicing. I did this one on audio, and I highly recommend it. And also, check this out. I met Elle Kennedy this year too. So I got to meet Elle Kennedy a couple weeks after I listened to this one on audio, and I loved it. And after The Graham Effect, I had to do the Dixon rule. And actually, I'm currently listening to the Charlie Method and reading it. The Dixon rule. If I thought I loved The Graham Effect, then I don't even have words for how much I love the Dixon rule. This book is so good. Shane, and Diana Dixon. I freaking loved her. I freaking loved her so much in this book. She is strong. Banter in this, be bantering. this is good. This is so good. So far it's been a pretty good year for me, as you can see. Al Kennedy, these are fun. Okay, I also entered the Catherine Centerverse this year. These are both audiobooks I did that I had to purchase the physicals for because I loved them so much. I was very surprised. I was very surprised by how much I love the Rom-Commers. I didn't even realize until I'd finished the book that there's essentially zero spice in this book. 90s rom-com. I freaking loved it so much. It's forced proximity. So she has to go and stay in his house. So that happens. And he's just like so adorable. Like Charlie Yates is so freaking adorable. It's so good on audio. And then next up, I did The Bodyguard. And I also thoroughly enjoyed this one on audio. Another book where the characters have major backstories and another forced proximity book. I guess I love forced proximity. They were forced to share a bedroom. Yes. First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. But I found it so fun. I really liked that there was like a radio show where they're trying to find love for her. It was radio style The Bachelorette. And I liked that. I always like when there's like a game aspect or a trial aspect, or like there's like a goal that they're trying to accomplish together. So I just really found it fun, and I loved the main characters. Lucy was just like really cool. Like I would want to be friends with her in real life. She's a mechanic, and I also was like another 90s rom-com. They just have like really cute chemistry, and there is some spice in this book. We all love a good spice. So that was fun. The Finish Line. So I read The Finish Line after Exodus. Did that as a buddy read recently. Very different vibes from the other two. This one I'm giving a 3.5. The only reason I'm giving a 3.5 is Cecilia. Like I'm convinced we're all reading these books for the boys. There's like 5 epilogues. Question mark? I don't understand. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very different. There was not much action like there is in the other books. You kept thinking like something's going to happen, someone's going to arrive, there's going to be action. Then there was, but it was kind of like at 90% of the book. So we went about most of the book without action. I will always recommend the Ravenhood Boys series. I read 2 arcs. I read Forged in Montana by Mallory Myers. It is her debut novel. And I read The Best Wrong Move by Lily Parker, another debut novel. And I got pretty lucky with both of those. I really enjoyed them. I read those both pretty fast. The Best Wrong Move is your perfect read for this summer. Hey, we talked about this in my intro video. The Edge of Darkness Trilogy, Insatiable, Restitution, and Voracious. You guys, please go watch my intro video where I talk about this book. These books, dark romance, very dark romance. Like the second book, Voracious, is so freaking dark. Like the things that happen in this book, there is like the underworld, trafficking, stuff like that. So please check the trigger warnings. Please be careful with these books. But I will say the MMC Cade and the FMC Stacy will be a part of me forever. I read Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. 3 stars. I have nothing against the kinkiness, and I don't mind that Ali Hazelwood is putting more spice in her books. I really do love Ali Hazelwood's writing. My qualms with this book are that they talk about having these kinks and having these lists, but I felt like the spice was vanilla. Like it was barely kinky. Like I didn't really actually find it very kinky. They have these lists that they give each other in the beginning to look at. And basically like, this is my list. This is my list. Oh, are we good with that? Okay, we're good with that. But they never tell us on the list. They never bring the list up again. It just didn't feel like kinky like I think it was supposed to. So that was my only qualm. If this book hadn't have set us up for kinkiness and it just was what it was, minus them talking about being kinky, I would have been okay with that. But I love Ali Hazelwood's writing. Lucas Bloomfist is hot. Hot. Audiobook for this one was perfect for my ears. Music to my ears. The FMC wasn't my favorite. I think there could have been a little bit more of like growth for her. Triangle aspect to this that I felt very unnecessary. Don't set me up for something and then not deliver on that. So that was my only thing with that. Catherine Cowell's All the Missing Pieces. Holy shit, this book was so good. Let's just sit with that for a second. Holy shit, this book was so good. All the Missing Pieces by Catherine Cowell. I will be diving headfirst into Catherine Cowell's verse now because I don't know, what did she put in this book? I didn't know that I was missing suspense, mystery, romance in my life. Didn't know I was missing that. And now that I know, I can't live without it. You have a podcaster who's trying to figure out cold cases, one that involves her sister, and then you have a sheriff of a small town who had what happened to her sister happen to his sister, but his sister survived. And then there's forced proximity, which we've already established. I like edge of your seat thriller vibe to it the whole time. I love that so much. I read Phantasma this year too. I did that one on my Kindle and ate that book up. Ate it up. Trials, yes please. Dark gothic romance that I didn't know I needed in my life. Also, yes please. Send me all your dark gothic romance book recs because I'm a fan. There's demons. You're going to love the spice in this book. I will say the spice is dark. There is some blood. I will say the ending wasn't what I really wanted. So another one where it was like 98% of this book devoured, loved. But then all of a sudden something happens and it just felt like boom, 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 rushed, see you later. I also did audiobook for Sloane St. James Lake's hockey series, book 3 in the game. This was my favorite so far of the series. I need to keep going because like I hear that book 4 is even better than book 3. So there's a single mom, baby daddy who doesn't know he's the baby daddy. He's the hockey player. The daddy vibes in this book are just, I cried too. I cried in this book. I cried in a hockey romance book. So please take my rec for this one. I really liked book 1 Before We Came. Number 2, Strong and Wild was a 2-star for me. Didn't love that book. Well, this has been fun. Thank you so much for wrapping up my reading so far. Let's call it chunky reading wrap up. I don't know that we're going to stick with that, but let's stick with it for this one. This has been fun. Thank you so much. Once again, please click the subscribe button and I'll see you guys next time.